So I'm going to pull up our PowerPoint and we'll get started. Don't forget at noon today. At noon, we will have a huddle up with the 21-day self-mastery challengers and just have a checkup. Make sure we're going strong. We're a week into that challenge. All right. Here we go. First entry by Deborah Jackson Parks, who I was talking to at the front end of this. Thanks for submitting, Deborah. Creamy, I'm already hungry. Creamy Cajun chicken pasta. Can we fix it? So we've got 8 ounces of linguine pasta. We already see a problem. So a saucer of that pasta is going to cause so much blood sugar spike, your rear end ain't seeing, no matter how much berberine you take, you're not going to see fat burning for 2 days. So we need to fix the pasta. Does anybody have some ideas on what we could replace this with?
My thoughts are
Miracle
Fiber
pasta?
Gourmet.
I heard Fiber Gourmet, that would work. So the starch is what causes the problem. Starch is worse than table sugar. It's deadly. So we're going to fix the starch by finding a pasta that's high in protein and fiber. Now, this is not to say that you couldn't play with miracle noodles, that you couldn't use zucchini spirals, but to stay true to the recipe, we're looking for a similar taste profile, and it doesn't get any better than Fiber Gourmet. Fiber Gourmet has a linguine pasta. Deborah says, could we use spaghetti squash? Absolutely. You would actually make this better for weight loss. Now, if you're trying to stay true to the recipe, maybe it doesn't taste as good, but it would still be delicious, and you would burn. You'd have a much higher thermic effect from that meal, where you burn more calories through digestion. Tammy asked, could we use carbonata? You could. Carbonata, slightly less effective than Fiber Gourmet, but it would be a good swap here. You certainly could. So if you had the recipe and you knew that Fiber Gourmet, here's how I operate my life. I know that Fiber Gourmet, there's good, better, best rules. I know that Fiber Gourmet is better for me than the carbonata, but that's all I've got. I'm doing it. I'm not going to lose weight as fast, but I'm doing it. I don't have spaghetti squash, but I've got Fiber Gourmet. I'm doing it because I'm going to get to my goal. I'm living this lifestyle. It's not a diet to me. So yes, you can use carbonata. What could we do in place of the olive oil? We know chicken breast is a category 1. What could we do here for the olive oil?
MCT.
There you go, Tara. 100% MCT. There's no use in using anything else in place of that. 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Could we use ghee butter there? It's not a lot either. You're not putting a lot of fat in there. So MCT and ghee butter there. Cajun seasonings free, cloves are free, diced tomatoes. There's 2/3 cup for, it looks to be a couple of servings. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to have a problem with the heavy whipping cream, actually. And I'm not going to have a problem with the Parmesan, though you might want to go reduce fat to save calories. This is loaded up in fat. I'm using the Fiber Gourmet, and because it's loaded up in fat, I'm going to dial that back. I'm not going to use as much pasta. I'm going to garnish this with pasta because there's too much fat here. And even though we're using a good pasta, if I'm using carbonara or Fiber Gourmet, I am getting a little insulin impact. And with all this fat, I'm not liking it. So I'm gonna turn this into 4 ounces. So it's 2 ounces per serving, 4 ounces total pasta. And then I'm gonna take some berberine before it just to be safe. Because we've got starch potential to impact the fat bus, and we got all this fat. If I control my portion, I know that I'm going to be fine. Does that make sense, everyone?
Travis, are we, has anybody had experience if this is this a skillet recipe or a baked recipe?
Let's see. Cook the pasta in skillet. They're using a skillet.
So we could easily do the zucchini noodles or the miracle noodles because of that. But if we were baking, could we use zucchini or miracle in a bake?
You could.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Dr. Elizabeth and I were kind of on the same, Cindy. I was thinking about we could use, I mean, you could, as scrumptious as that sounds, I can see me putting it over broccoli or rice cauliflower or a mixture of both. And because that keeps me with all the saucy goodness over top of something a little less than a noodle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You could do that. You could, with this dish, you can add any category two. You again on the side or put it over it. Only thing that I would do other than switch out the fats is I would reduce the noodles only if I was using Fiber Gourmet or carbonara. Does that make sense? If I'm using a category two vegetable, you got to watch out though. You got to be careful with those. You got to be really careful with the category two vegetable spirals, because if you're not getting it from the produce department and spiraling it yourself, a lot of times they've added vegetable oil and then it's wrecked. Does that make sense? You take a berberine 15 to 30 minutes before you eat on an empty stomach twice a day, Sister Beth. I posted my continuous glucose monitor. I'm going to do more with the berberine, and you'll notice that when I take berberine, even if I forget, when I take it after, every time my blood sugar just plummets. So it's better to take before though. Twice a day. And what you're doing is you are less insulin. You're not going to, you have to have insulin. You're not going to stop insulin from being secreted. But the idea is, if you think of it in terms of daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, it's like calories. If every day we're secreting to a level 10, if that was a thing, then if, for example, in 7 days, if you push the envelope with insulin and you push the envelope, that's 10 points a day. And if you can just visualize like that, that's 70 points of insulin. By eating in the right combination and taking supplements that help offset that, or without the supplement, let's say you still ate wrong, you still ate incorrect, but with this information, your insulin levels were averaging a 5 a day. Well, that's 35 points instead of 70 in the week. It's just math. It's all just mathematics, y'all. So thinking like that, that's why some have messaged me through the years, not some, but many. I'm not even doing it all right, but because of what I've learned, and you hear it with husbands, like the wife says, my husband's not all in, but he's losing weight. He doesn't know that I've changed out some stuff and he's losing weight. Well, the reason he's losing weight, but he's eating the same portions, is because of the combinations controlling insulin. That's the key. Is everybody satisfied with Deborah's recipe, that we've come up with good, better, and best options there? That's a good, that's a delicious sounding recipe. That's what it's all about. By the way, we're gonna do this one night. I'm gonna try to pull it together one night next week. Those that want to, we're gonna have dinner together. And what I mean by that is I'm gonna give you the simple ingredients, and yeah, those that want to participate, you'll go buy the simple ingredients and we will cook together those same ingredients and we'll all do the same recipe and then we'll share a meal together, those that want to. So you can see how budget friendly, simple, quick, easy, all this stuff is. I hope some people will be interested in that. Yep,
Hey,
Jennifer,
Travis.
it'll be fun. Yes,
Travis, can I say something about, excuse me, about my submissions? I just want to let everybody know, I know last week y'all said, guys, we really need some recipes. We need some participation. And I haven't tried these. You probably have another one for me today too. But my Facebook feed is always full of all these good looking things coming up from all recipes and stuff like that. So when I see one that I think looks good in the past, I've always just put them in my save folder for a holiday or either to take it and go back and play with it. So as they come up and I see it looks like it might be something interesting to the group, I just been sharing it to fix it and then y'all can run with whatever you want to. So
yes. I appreciate you doing that. And she's so right. It's so easy to grab some of them, those ridiculous, delicious looking foods out there, the recipes that get us in trouble and bring it to class and let's fix it. We have to have group participation for the program to stay dynamic and fun. Easy pineapple slaw, Deborah Parks. I love slaw. Let's take a look. Broccoli slaw, not a problem. Category 2, Napa cabbage, not a problem. 20 ounces, a can of unsweetened pineapple tidbits. So far, there's no problem here, except for you have to be careful and note, Lisa, do not get pineapple with added sugar or any syrup. It has to be unsweetened. In the ingredient says nothing but pineapple. Pineapple and water. Or fresh pineapple. Green onions, mayonnaise. Okay, so now we've got to be careful. We've got a category 2. We've got category 5 without any added. If this has syrup or added sugar, it can't work. It will not work. It's like shooting up with sugar. The green onions is not a problem. That's a freebie. Let's go on to rice vinegar. That's not a problem. Black pepper's not a problem. The salt's not a problem. So the only challenge for this side item or this category 2 is the mayonnaise. And that's a large portion of mayonnaise. I'm assuming it serves 4. Mayonnaise is very high in calories. The only thing that we can do here is switch that to fat-free mayo. If you're willing to do that, Kraft has a fat-free product, and I would dial back on this and then test the recipe. It'll be a little drier, but I would probably go a half a cup of fat-free mayo. That's what I would do. Anybody have any other suggestions? That would perfect this for me if I were eating it at home. It would be a category 2 side item that way for me. And I might do that tomorrow when the kids come over.
What about doing like Greek unsweetened yogurt?
You could do that one too. That might be a really good substitution there, like some Greek plain yogurt. That would be a good one, Doctor. In fact, Lisa can note that.
Could you half some of the yogurt and half some of the fat-free mayo for the taste?
Absolutely. Anytime you're experimenting in the kitchen, so if this says a cup of mayo and you wanted to do a half a cup of fat-free mayo with a half a cup of Greek plain yogurt and see how the taste come out and experiment, both those ingredients are fine there. Jennifer has a great suggestion. Fat-free sour cream or maybe a bit of Dijon mustard. You could play with both of those. Mustard's basically a freebie, and the fat-free sour cream's a great condiment. You could experiment with that too, and you would not be messing this one up. So how would I have it on a portion plate? A quadrant. Everybody knows what a quadrant is. I would have something like a quadrant of my 6 to 8 inch plate would be this slaw. Another quadrant would be pinto beans. And then the half of the plate would be grilled chicken. That's the kind of stuff I eat at home. And that would be delicious. Or I could do this with this slaw, just to give you ideas. I could do battered and fried shrimp and fish. I do this all the time, carb quick and fiber wise. I could have battered and fried fish and shrimp with a side of slaw. Delicious. I do stuff like that all the time. It's amazing. Questions or comments? I batter it. Yes, you can batter and fry anything with the right flour. I just use my egg whitewash, dip it in there, roll it around in my batter, and fry it in MCT oil. It's one of my favorite things to do, especially with shrimp, with scallops, with cheese sticks, all kind of stuff. You just got to use the right flour.
So sounds delish. Let me know if you try it tomorrow, because I won't have a chance before then.
Awesome. Sure will. And y'all, again, let me bring us back to why we're really here. And then we'll go through more. And I know what is that? I just beat a dead horse to death or whatever. I can't help it. We're living a lifestyle. We're not in the diet mentality. We're focusing on what we can have. People eat not because you're hungry. You eat because it tastes good. Tastes good and fat loss is always better than tastes good and fat gain. And just keeping that mindset, and this is my lifestyle. I love my lifestyle. Tell yourself that over and over. My dad, many years ago, he said, I was grumbling about my job or something. Obviously, he's had a great impact on me because he's hard. He don't complain. He's hard. And I was complaining about something. He said, son, every day, that's why I get in trouble with my loved ones, because sometimes I can be like dad, and he's old school. Does anybody have an old school dad? It works for him. It doesn't work for new age folk. And sometimes, like my dad, he would be like, he goes from, Will knows what I'm talking about. He's a veteran, and he would go from not much to say, son, terrifying, that voice. Sometimes I have it. But anyway, he said, you got to get up every day and say, I love my job. I love my job. He said, if you can do better, go do something better. Don't complain. If you can't do better, love what you're doing until you can do better. I apply that with this lifestyle. I love my lifestyle. I love my lifestyle. If you're having to white knuckle this lifestyle every day and you're afraid to have a holiday, because once you have a holiday, it's like vampire getting blood and you won't come back to perfect days, that's not where we want to be mentally yet. If I have a holiday, it's usually because I'm kind of forced into it. It's either that or eat air because I'm somewhere. And I'm like happy, excited to get back to my lifestyle. You got to enjoy it. Will says, what about G. Hughes sugar-free coleslaw dressing? That would work even better, Lisa. Put that in there for Brother Will if you can remember. You could also use G. Hughes sugar-free coleslaw dressing. That would work great. All right, that's a good one. Everybody satisfied with the slaw? I'm satisfied with that one. What about lasagna? This is one that Lisa grabbed for us because we needed more recipes, and I said, get some hard ones. So we're going to do some lasagna. There's already lasagna recipes, but let's talk it out so you know why it works. We can't use fettuccine pasta. What could we use here that's going to be lasagna texture?
Well, if you don't have to have a noodle, could you use like a thin sliced zucchini?
You
If
could,
you
and
don't have to have a noodle.
you could, and that would always make it better. Yeah. So I'll probably take a step back here and let me share with you why this is trouble for new people. Why is this one trouble? And let's talk about the vast trouble that it is. Regular fettuccine pasta, there's nothing you can do to fix that. Your blood sugar is going through the roof to the point of a near-death experience if you don't get hold of some insulin. Then ground beef, these recipes, let me mute this. These recipes that say lean ground beef, usually they're talking about like 80% lean or 70% lean. That's not lean at all, y'all. If you can visualize 85% lean, can y'all visualize a 1 pound package of 85% lean ground beef, what it looks like in the supermarket sitting there? Y'all, if you know math, 7/10 of that package is lard from all kind of disease slaughterhouses. It's just filler fat. And only 3/10 of that package, 3/10 is lean protein. When they say lean, they're talking about by the weight of the product, not by calories. So you got to be careful with that. When you put those two things together, that's death in a plate. You can't do that. If you do that too often, other than on holidays, you'll never get healthy. Higher inflammation levels, can't do it. But and then look at all this other stuff that's in a regular lasagna recipe. You got regular butter. You've got full fat cheddar cheese. No wonder a serving of this would be over 1,000 calories. Full fat mozzarella. There's nothing good about this recipe. It just tastes good. So if we can get taste good and fat loss, why wouldn't we? So Cindy said we could use zucchini. We could. We could also use Fiber Gourmet lasagna. They have a lasagna pasta that would work here. Lisa, Fiber Gourmet lasagna or a category 2 vegetable pasta. You could use carbonara pasta here. You could use AHS fettuccine, but it's not really meant for something like this. I don't think that you would like that. AHS fettuccine is better to be used like you make it in a boiling pot or the microwave, a quick fix, and you add some baby shrimp to it or some grilled chicken or turn it into tuna helper with some tuna. That's how that's meant to be used, but like a cooking, it's not really meant for that, if that makes sense. I'm going Fiber Gourmet lasagna. I don't know what Stella, the Bonza, can you give Lisa a link? I don't know much about those noodles. I would need to look at their profile. Hey, Mama. I love the Fiber Gourmet, Mama says. It's delicious. I can't tell the difference. We grew up with Mueller's pasta. Angel Hair Mueller's pasta. We had no idea, did we, Mama, that it was like 30, and I wasn't eating just a saucer of it. I was eating like huge plates and seconds and thirds. Just a saucer of that pasta metabolizes like 30 teaspoons of sugar. So we're switching because Fiber Gourmet, higher fiber is going to slow down the blood sugar impact. I'm definitely taking berberine or carbides before this meal. But I'm going to use that pasta. And then I'm going to use 96% lean ground beef or lean ground turkey or lean ground chicken. Cheryl says Fiber Gourmet lasagna pasta noodles are awesome. Hey, Cheryl. Let me look at this Bonza pasta for Stella. Let's see what we got here, Stella. Hold on. We're gonna pause for Stella just a moment. And we'll all see, because I'm sure y'all are interested too. When I click the link, I'm unable to go there. Oh, there it is. Let's take a look at Stella's preferred pasta. Stella's preferred pasta, let's see. Made from chickpeas. We have to be careful if it's chickpeas. It's going to be heavy in calories. So let's take a look at overall nutrition. I was right. Heavy in calories, 35 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fiber for only a 2-ounce serving. I'm a little afraid of this. Low fat, 35 grams. If I deduct 5 grams of fiber, I've got 30 net carbs. Okay, there is enough protein, Stella, to make this work. If you wanted to use it, if you prefer it, you could make it work. It is not the best option. Does that make sense, Stella? But you might really enjoy it. And since you're doing this as a lifestyle, I think you'll be okay. What does it matter if we slow down on the weight loss freeway and enjoy the scenery a little more? You know, if you're doing this forever, you're going to reach your goal. You want to go fast, not the right one. In fact, the only right one would be the one Cindy mentioned, the category 2 vegetable pasta. We've got to use 96% lean ground meat. Must. Ghee butter is a must. The rest of this I'm good with. We have to use, I would do a 1/2 cup of reduced fat cheese or 1 full cup of LifeWise fat-free cheese. I would do the reduced fat-free cheese. You could do the full cup. If you can't find fat-free and you do reduced fat, you need to reduce that a lot. I'd go down to a 1/2 cup. Same thing for your mozzarella. Again, get you some LifeWise fat-free hump cheese. Cabot Extra Light would work here. Sargento reduced fat, but fat-free is best. Or you need to cut this cheese in half. Why? All this fat. Got a lot of fat. We always want to dial back on the fat if there's the potential to get any fat loss. You're saving tons of calories when you do that too. We want fat-free beef broth. I'm okay with the cream of mushroom. There's 4 servings here. And I think that's it. Does anybody see anything I missed? Any of you cooks, mom, anybody? That's what I would do. That's how I would fix this. And then I would eat a small serving. I'd take a 6 to 8 inch plate and one hand would cover my lasagna. It's going to be much more filling than this recipe because you won't get the insulin impact. And on the other side, I would definitely have a category 2. I wouldn't have a full plate of lasagna, even though I could, because this is heavy in calories. So one hand would cover my portion, and then I would have a category 2 beside it if I needed something that was more filling. Everybody good with that one? My mom said I would use low-fat cream of mushroom. That would be better. I would put that too, Lisa. It would be best to use low-fat cream of mushroom. Save some calories in this recipe. Everybody good? Was that a good one? Is that something that y'all would try? Lasagna Alfredo. Same thing here. The same noodle replacement. Everything that we said prior to this recipe holds true here. We've got spinach as a category 2, chicken breast a category 1. Here, I want to use light Alfredo sauce, Bertolli. has a light Alfredo, let's switch to light Alfredo, or you can get one of those seasoning packs and fix that. There are Alfredo seasoning packs, but you have to know to make the right swaps to mix it. So it's best, if you don't know the right swaps, to get Bertolli light Alfredo. We got heavy fat ricotta cheese and mozzarella. The only other thing we got to do here is, let's see, we're going to have to use ricotta. It's hard to find reduced fat ricotta, isn't it? Has anybody found anything like that? We need to go fat-free or reduced fat mozzarella. I think we're going to be okay, but we need to come back on these noodles. So we're going to say 1 8-ounce package. You could use 16 ounces of the vegetable noodles, but because this pasta still has starch in it, the Fiber Gourmet, we want to come back on this. We'll make it less. Keep in mind, the pasta, it doesn't have a flavor. You're not losing anything. It doesn't have flavor. It's just texture, and it adopts the flavors of what it's cooked with. So we're not losing anything by this being a thinner slice. So I would do 8 ounces of Fiber Gourmet lasagna noodles, or the vegetable ones. If y'all have better ideas, let me know. Chicken breast, Bertolli light, ricotta, but I would have a pint of ricotta for the entire recipe. 4 cups of reduced fat or fat-free mozzarella, and I think we're good. How do y'all feel about that one? Those of you that do a lot of experimenting in the kitchen.
Travis, I would consider doing maybe the egg life wraps in there instead of lasagna noodles. Would that make it go crazy on the ingredients?
No, you would infinitely make it better. I've never thought of trying that, but it sounds like something that would be good to me. I mean, you would take it into a so-so weight loss recipe and turn it into a great one. Jennifer mentioned something that we often forget about. There are cabbage lasagnas. Cabbage would be great here in this recipe. But I think that's the proper way to go here with all those suggestions that we've come up with. Uh-oh, we might have met our match. Golden sweet cornbread. Uh-oh. I said give some hard ones. There are some cornbread recipes. Let's see if we can fix this one. All-purpose flour, yellow cornmeal, white sugar, baking powder, whole milk, which is one of the worst things that you can put in your body, vegetable oil, and a large egg. Here, I can make the swaps, but it would require somebody to experiment and to find out how it turns out. So here's what I would do. I would use either Carb Quick, a half a cup of Carb Quick, a half a cup of Fiber Wise, or I would use a half a cup of almond flour. I don't think that's going to turn out good. I would either use Carb Quick, all Carb Quick, or a half a cup of Carb Quick and a half a cup of Fiber Wise, or 3/4. Let's do that. 3/4 of a cup Carb Quick, heavy fat, 1/4 of a cup Fiber Wise to slow down this blood sugar impact. For the cornmeal, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I would put in a coffee grinder, Bob's Red Mill TVP. I would attempt it that way. TVP, when you grind it in a coffee grinder into a flour, I do this, I bread shrimp like this, and it gives it more of a crunch. It's a good replacement for cornmeal. Instead of white sugar, I would use Will's allulose, or I would use monk fruit. The baking powder's fine. The milk, I have to change to fat-free Fairlife or Kroger Carbmaster or unsweetened almond milk. The vegetable oil is easy, MCT oil. And I would be very interested for fun in how this turned out. That's something I would play with, and I might end up throwing it in the garbage, but sometimes you stumble up on something that's really delicious. Then I would have this with some pintos or some soup, some vegetable soup. That's what I would do. Jennifer asked how much TVP. I would do a cup. I would grind up finely a cup of TVP. TVP is a lean protein plus a fibrous carb. So if it works, you have just taken out the thing that's really bad here and replaced it with something really good, TVP. Does anybody think that if you do much cornbread, do you think that what I said might work? I know it works nutritionally, but do you think it might work and turn out okay? Because I'm not sure. But that's really all I know to do to that one. You might want to try Bob's Red Mill low carb baking mix. I'm not sure how it would work. I'm gonna pause there and try to get y'all's input on that one. I know y'all are probably washing clothes, doing dishes, but any input on that one, how we could do that and it'd be better? Or just have that one on a holiday?
Could you do the extract? Do like a cornmeal extract so you can get away from the corn but get the flavor?
You could try it.
I haven't done it yet, but I'd be interested in trying a cornmeal extract. So if I do, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, that you can definitely try that. A lot of people do not like the Shibboleth approved cornbread recipes. I love them, but I'm used to them. So I guess it depends on your palate, but I love them. I love the perfect cornbread in pintos of various ways. I just love it in the soup. But
There's one.
that's what I would do.
I made the one with the almond flour, and I took it like at Thanksgiving when I was doing it before. And I mean, everybody loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah.
really did. They were impressed.
Yeah, and so that you said that, you could definitely experiment with any of the approved flours. Do y'all know what the approved flours are? Then you just experiment. There's almond flour, any nut flour that Bob's Red Mill makes, Bob's Red Mill low carb baking mix, coconut flour, Carb Quick, but it's always good in your flour mixture to throw in some fiber, a scoop of Fiber Wise. If you're off a little, it's gonna fix it. Fiber Wise or Fiber Gourmet or Thorn Fiber Mend. Put 1 scoop of those in with your flour mixture, and you will save a lot of insulin. Is that good? 1-on-1 has a cornbread extract flavor. Thank you, Dr. Elizabeth and Will. Let's make note of that. By the way, before we go, Lisa, are you overwhelmed right now? Can I ask you a question? If you will write those down on a little notepad before we go today, those ingredients, let me give it to our new Shibboleth friend, the new algorithms, and let's see what it suggests. Y'all, as partners and Faithfully Fit members, you will soon be able to do what I'm about to do. I'm going to take the ingredients I have, and I'm going to go in, and I'm going to, it has now learned all of the Shibboleth formulas and algorithms perfectly. And I'm gonna be able to say, here's the ingredients that I have. What can you do with it? And it'll pop it out for our partners and Faithfully Fit members. We'll test that. It's a beta feature. We'll test it before you go. I'm working hard. All right. So let's go back to, I think we've come up with the best we can there. Cheesecake. Let me go on and fix this one for you without even looking at it. Y'all ready for me to fix it? I'm not even gonna look at it and then I'm gonna fix it. But I'm gonna go on and fix it. Hey, Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate y'all. I know you do. And I don't say that. That sounded awful, didn't it? Me on and on. I'm working hard. I just want you to know how much I love you. But on cheesecake, my mom, her cheesecake recipe, bless her heart, she makes her boy 1 or 2 of those a week. And I love it. And when I'm doing OMAD with my buddy Cindy, and I've waited all day, I've had all of my drinks during the day that allow me to still be in autophagy. And then it's finally time for that dinner. And I have some delicious Langostino lobster bites in over a salad. And I earned a dessert. I'll have mom's cheesecake with blueberries on it. Mom's cheesecake with sugar-free chocolate chips on it. I look forward to that all day. So her recipe will trump anything I'm about to come up with here, but let's try to come up with it. So I've got, oh Lord, honey-made graham cracker. Mom, are you there? I don't know how to fix that. Oh, I guess this is going to be for a crust. We got to do something different for the crust. We might have to ask our new algorithm friend. I don't know.
Go crustless.
Oh, okay. Nut crust or crustless is what mom says. We need a nut crust or a crustless cheesecake. Let's just go crustless. Ghee butter. I'm not even excited about this one because mama already does the best. You got monk fruit, ghee butter, fat-free or reduced fat cream cheese, fat-free or reduced fat sour cream, vanilla, the eggs, cherry pie. You'd have to use, you would not be able to use the cherry pie filling. You would have to use real cherries. Cherries are not high glycemic. You'd have to use, if it looks like this recipe, I would just put regular cherries over that and maybe some Walden Farms calorie-free strawberry sauce or something. Somebody else may have a better idea. I don't ever use these sauces like that. They're full of sugar. So I will use real berries, real cherries. But if you do this crustless, you'd be okay. But just check out mom's. It's awesome.
Could you
Hey,
use the
Travis?
frozen?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Could you use the frozen cherries?
As long as I haven't looked at frozen cherries, but you have to look and make sure there's no sugar added. And in the ingredients, it's just cherries. If there's sugar in there, it's like shooting up with sugar. You got to be careful with canned fruit and frozen fruit. Like, I know people that think they're buying blueberries because they're frozen, and then they find out there's all kind of sugar added. You got to make sure it's truly frozen fruit, which is a category 5 or a condiment. And we got to keep it away from fats. So does that make sense? Mom says this one will be a stiffer consistency because hers is a no bake.
What is
Does
your mom's
Travis-
recipe called?
Mom, do you know what it's called in there? Have we put it in there yet? I might have got her in trouble. I know we had problems with the crust, but we know what to do about the crust.
And I'm gonna throw this out there really quick. I just use this Skinny Mixes salted caramel zero everything
yeah.
on my yogurt. It was so good.
Awesome. What's the name of that one?
It's Skinny Mixes, Jordan Skinny Mixes. It's at Walmart on the end of like the ice cream aisle.
All right.
It's so good. It's like honey on your yogurt. So good.
Awesome.
Travis,
Thanks.
I'm not sure if that recipe's in there or not. The chocolate chip GC control cookies are, but I'm not sure about the cheesecake. But nut crust is the easiest way to go if you want a crust. But the one that you just looked at, I actually have got one I'm gonna try that you bake, because it'll be a stiffer consistency, and those do really good crustless, where mine is a little bit softer consistency. And I tried one crustless. I do them when I do it for myself in individual muffin cup liners. And that way I've got the right portion. And as far as berries, I don't know if anybody else does this or not, but fresh strawberries right now are abundant. And if you slice those up early on and let them sit with in a covered container with just a little bit of Splenda or monk fruit or the allulose, and stir it occasionally during the day, it makes a great topping for a cheesecake. And you don't have to worry about the sugar that much.
Good to know. Good to know. And I don't know if yours is in here. Cheryl said she has had yours. It may be here. I do know that Mark and Lola Joe years ago, theirs was awesome. I just noticed it. There it is, Mark and Lola Joe's. It's got high ratings. So that would be a good one. I see a -1, which would be good for weight loss. That would be a good one. It's a -1. And then, I eat Mom's every week, so I can vouch for it. But there's several. You can see there's many variations of cheesecake. And as long as you're experimenting with the good ingredients and keeping long chain fats away from sugar and starch, you're doing good. You're doing good. Let me see if, before we go, if Lisa, those of you that want to stay a minute, and we'll see if this new beta with this cornbread, I'm interested in how that's working out.
Okay, Travis, while you're doing that, I was just going to mention, and of course, there may be some sneaky ingredients in it too, but I know on the shelf, I've seen cans of the no sugar added, like cherry pie filling and stuff like that. Has anybody ever used that or looked at it?
What you would have to look for there, we would need to look at it. We would need to look at it, because if the carbohydrate in that filling per serving is a certain level because it's processed, then it might throw the whole thing off. So we would just need to look and make sure. Sometimes no sugar added is tricky. It means it already has a ton of sugar and we didn't add any more.
Right. That's what I was
So,
saying. And it probably has some sneaky ingredients in it. But
yeah, have to be careful with anything that's not straight out of the produce department. All right, we're going to try the cornbread thing. Let's see. I'm going into our Faithfully Fit. We're going to see what happens here. Those of you that will see what it says and see if it knows better than I do. Interesting. Are y'all ready for this? It's a lot smarter than me. This is scary. So it's learned all of the Shibboleth rules, correct? And I said, here's the swaps that I'm trying to make. What would you make? And it says, if you're really looking for the right outcome and to control sugar, to control blood sugar here, and still maintain the recipe flavor and taste profile, you would want to use 1 cup of fiber-wise flour, but keep the 1 cup of yellow cornmeal. We can neutralize the cornmeal with the other components of the recipe. Fiber-wise flour, yellow cornmeal will help maintain the taste and texture, and people think it's real cornbread. 2 tablespoons of swerve granular sugar is better. 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk, 1/3 cup of MCT oil, 1 large egg. The nutritional profile would be perfect according to your rules, Travis. Would be approximately 145 calories for a serving, 6 grams of protein, 5 grams of net carbs, and 11 grams of fat. Have this with as a side item with any category 1, 2, 4, 6, or 7. So that's what's coming for y'all. That has been, if y'all remember, before last August, I kept meeting and saying, I just need your help. And we went to working, and a lot of folks gave up, but we have busted our butt and we have scratched and clawed to get these things to you. You're about to have that tool, and it has been learning my algorithms, formulas, everything for the last month. And it's smarter than me, so I love it. It's awesome. It only knows what we teach it. So it's just awesome. And it's a big help. Bye, Mama. So there you go. We'll put that recipe in the library, because to me, it sounded right to me, didn't it, y'all? And we get to use some real cornmeal. We're neutralizing the blood sugar impact with the other ingredients. That's beautiful. You like that, Cindy? That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's impressive. That's amazing. And I can just see the glee and pride, but not in a bad kind of pride, coming off of you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. We got a long way to go, but we
Well,
appreciate.
but we're here today.
Yeah, we are.
Remember the conversation we had today.
Yeah, it means a lot to me. Thanks for bringing me back to that. We are here, alive and kicking today. Things are getting better every day. The Lord's really blessing us, and we owe it to our partners and faithfully fit members. We've always wanted to make the Shibboleth lifestyle easy, fun, and efficient for those people that want to learn a lifestyle that put Jesus centric and first. And really just appreciate y'all helping sustain us. Cheryl says we need to continue to help, giving in faith monthly. And thank you for all you do, Cheryl. You always do too much. Thank you, Cheryl. Lisa and I thank you greatly. Y'all's contribution does not go overlooked. This is a good-hearted program and a good-hearted group. And it's never been about money. It's always been about trying to save lives and bring honor to the Lord. We do that through flawed individuals like me, but the desire's there, you know. All right. Anybody got anything before we go? We do have the 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Huddle Up, 21-day self-mastery, Huddle Up checkup that we'll be hosting. Thank y'all for purchasing meal plans from me. Appreciate that. We've enjoyed putting work into that, and we're super excited about all these things to come. Right. Does anybody feel like closing us out in a word of prayer? Anybody feel the unction to do that? Lisa is reminding y'all to please submit your recipes so that we can fix them and have them in this class. Again, if you're not a partner, we do ask if you're going to attend the We Fixed It classes for $1 a month. If you're a partner, y'all are doing enough. Thank you.
I will pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for all that you do for us, Lord, and I thank you so much for Shibboleth, that you brought it into each one of our lives, Lord. And I thank you for all that Travis has done for 20 years, Lord. He has put his heart, mind, and soul in this, Lord. And I know that you will take our little effort, Lord, and just explode it into something so big that it will just blow our minds, Lord. And I thank you, God, that you heal us and you restore us. And Lord, you restore all the years that the locust has ate, Lord. And I pray that you will do that in each person's life that is here today, Lord. And Lord, I thank you that you're a healer and that you'll never, ever give up on us. And I thank you so much for that. And I thank you for Travis. And I thank you for bringing him in my life. I thank you for bringing him in each one of these people's lives, Lord. And I know that you're going to do mighty and great things that we will not even understand what an amazing thing you're going to do. And we thank you for all the financial things that he needs, Lord. I pray that you will give it to him, Lord, and it's going to come from sources that he's not even going to realize that he's going to get. And we thank you for all these things, and we praise you today in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Bess, thank you for that sweet, sweet, touching prayer. We all needed that and appreciate that. May God shine his face upon you and bless you all the days of your life. Appreciate y'all so much. We'll see some of you at noon. God bless. Thanks for coming to We Fixed It.